Hello and welcome, as in this video, we are going to explore the spatial organization and architectural intent of the St. George's Pompidou, focusing on how its high-tech design principles shape both its physical layout and symbolic meaning through the eyes of Renzo Piano. Renzo Piano, born in 1937, is known for challenging conventional design, and he emerged a visionary as he redefined what architecture could be in a modern world. In the port city of Genoa, Italy, Piano grew up in a family of builders. Together, Piano's father and grandfather ran a construction business. This legacy helped shape his future career. As he reflects in an interview with the Louisiana Channel, "My father was a builder, and I got to be a builder as simple as that." In 1964, Piano graduated from the Polytechnic University of Milan with a dissertation focused on modular coordination, the analysis of alignment of elements in both architecture and construction, before joining the family business. This led to Piano experimenting with lightweight structures and basic shelters. This experience laid the foundation for his design approach that unites technical experimentation with human experience while embracing architecture as the craft of making. Entering his early career, Piano honed his philosophies through collaborations with both architects and engineers, such as Louis Kahn, who he worked with in Philadelphia, and Zygmunt Stanislaw Markowski, who he worked with in London. These encounters exposed him to both newfound structural innovation and conceptual rigor. In London, he met French metalworker, self-taught architect and designer Jean Prouve. The two fostered a friendship that heavily influenced Piano's integration of industrial processes into his high-tech designs and construction. The following quote captures Piano's belief in architecture as both a technical and imaginative pursuit, rooted in construction, but elevated by design. "As an architect, you are a builder. You are, of course, more than a builder. You need to be a militant, you have to be a poet, you have to be a visionary, you have to be an artist. But certainly you have to be a builder." Everything starts from there. Renzo Piano's background in construction engineering caused his hands-on approach in which he blends material experimentation with urban and social function. This hallmark is seen throughout his works, including, but not limited to, the Jean-Marie Tjibaou Cultural Center, Paddington Square, and the famous St. George's Pompidou. Piano's earlier years map an understanding of both his methods and the intended meaning behind his work. His first completed projects arose in 1968, first with the IPE factory in Genoa, and followed by a temporary roof design for the Triennale di Milano. These projects were in collaboration with his family business and showcased lightweight interventions that reflected his inherited technological craftsmanship. These designs foreshadow his future architectural language and expression. Later in 1970, Piano worked on his first international commission. He designed the Italian pavilion for the World's Fair Exposition, which highlighted global recovery and industrialization after WW2. Piano's pavilion, amongst others, presented postmodernist techniques, materials, advanced prefabrication, and modular construction. These elements highlighted architecture's effect on quality of life and reframed how new technology fits into it. This project marked the beginning of the development of diversity in his philosophies. He reflects on how travel opened his eyes to the importance of diversity in enriching design. This progressed his understanding of architecture as a global language. Renzo Piano's design approach revolves around creating flexible, structurally and materially honest, technologically advanced systems that both respond to its urban environment and serve the community within it. In the following quote from an interview with the Louisiana Channel, Piano's grounded approach to forming social function is revealed. "This profession is about making a better word. It's certainly making place for people to meet and to stay together, but it's also looking for beauty." Piano's piece-by-piece method reflects his love and devotion to the craft of making. For Piano, architecture is an ongoing dialogue between the smaller details and the larger whole. He places an emphasis on forming the social functions of a space within its urban context. This includes how its community grows, how it gathers, and how it learns. In addition, architecture is pivotal in shaping the identities and emotions of the community, and Piano took great care with this responsibility. Piano views architecture as a craft of ongoing engagement. Architecture to Piano means time spent engaging with materials, iterating the form, looking at each piece of the construction process, and utilizing every moment of opportunity as it serves the larger function in relation to its context. Piano embraces high-tech architecture, keeping a focus on adaptability, urban integration, all while challenging the established norms in architecture. Piano still notes the importance of aesthetics. You can put down a bad book. You can avoid listening to bad music, but you cannot miss the ugly tower block opposite your house. This motif was recurrent during the 1970s as architecture adapted to the growing demands of cities by questioning both the necessities and the role of the built form. Stepping back into Paris' social climate in the 1970s, we begin to understand the reason why the Pompidou carved its iconic name into Paris urban culture. Paris's status as the center of contemporary art began to decline in the post-war era. New artistic styles emerged in America and subsequently shifted global attention towards American approaches to modern art. In response, Paris sought to protect its cultural prestige. In 1969, then Prime Minister Georges Pompidou advanced plans for a new cultural center. This resulted in the Pompidou. This came during a time where demand for spaces dedicated to artistic expression was growing, fueled by widespread protests that advocated for new cultural platforms. Plateau Beaubourg, a barren area dominated by parking lots, offered a site for a socially and aesthetically transformative space in response to the shifting climate. In response, the Pompidou embraces an accessible, anti-monumental movement and prioritizes the public experience over grandeur. In 1971, Renzo and Richard Rogers' winning radical design occupied half the site with structure, allocating the remainder to public engagement. This gesture redefined urban architecture, particularly in Paris. To grasp a deeper understanding of Piano's architectural philosophy and approach, we must look at his most infamous project, the Centre Pompidou. The Centre Georges Pompidou in Paris was designed by Piano in collaboration with Richard Rogers and serves as a primary example of both his design approach and philosophy through volume, structure, and its interaction with the urban environment. The centre was conceived as a cultural forum where various art forms could be intertwined within the same space. The most revolutionary feature of the Pompidou is its inside-out design, consisting of entirely external structure, services, and circulation systems that opens up the internal volume. Piano wanted to create large, adaptable internal spaces and did so by exhibitioning all structure, services, and circulation to the exterior of the building, creating a high-tech external grid. This also fed into his structural and material honesty by showing exactly where every live element in the building was as it intertwined through the load-bearing steel structure. He extended on this honestly by creating a legible facade through a color coding system in which blue is air, green is water, yellow is electricity, and red is external circulation. The structure spans 6 stories above ground and includes 4 basement levels, covering a total floor area of approximately 103,305 square meters. Its rectangular form is organized into 13 identical structural bays, each supported by a steel superstructure composed of hollow columns, trusses, and massive 8-meter-long Gerberat cantilevered beams which create column-free interiors. This compartmentalized system allows for flexible, modular internal volumes. The Pompidou's layout embodies his piece-by-piece philosophy, where each component, structural or experiential, contributes to a dynamic whole that engages both its urban context and its community. The Centre Georges Pompidou consists of 8 levels, 2 of which are basement floors. The top floors are created within a modular steel grid made up of 13 bays. The form is designed to support over 5,000 occupants, with additional capacity in the adjacent plaza. Its structural system uses prefabricated steel components that allow for large, column-free spaces, reflecting a high-tech architectural focus on flexibility and industrial processes. The building's west facade opens into a public plaza, leading into a ground-level event space used for exhibitions and public programs. The second floor contains a public library with multimedia access and seating for up to 2,200 users. Above that, the third floor includes a research library and offices. The fourth and fifth floors are dedicated to gallery spaces, designed with movable partitions to support changing exhibitions. The sixth floor features a restaurant and rooftop terrace. Below ground, the basement levels house cinemas, technical support areas, and a children's activity zone. Circulation is distributed by external escalators unclosed in transparent tubes along the facade, as well as internal elevators and staircases located at both ends of the building. These exposed circulation systems are part of the high-tech expression of the Pompidou, where functional elements communicate with the building aesthetic. The bright colors from the services and circulation created an engaging, intricate facade that brought about transparency and honesty in the function that the design derived from. Piano's buildings have been described as detailed, yet appearing to light that they may fly away, something demonstrated in the Pompidou's facade. His designs instead achieve stability through inherent flexibility. This facade became a defining visual feature that distanced the design from its current pre-modern urban environment. The external circulation consists of transparent tubes on the side of the buildings and molded a spectacle of the pathways through the building for viewers looking in. The transparency of the tubes established an experience for the inhabitants looking out, as they gain an increasingly exceptional view as they ascend to higher floors. Piano and Rogers' design only occupied half of the available site atop Plateau Beaubourg. Instead, They addressed its urban context through a public plaza that aimed to integrate the institution and its program to its urban environment and the community within it. This was majorly successful, and the plaza can be seen buzzing with community interactions throughout the years. Summary: Renzo Piano's work was a keystone of the high-tech architectural movement. Piano's dominant contribution to the high-tech architectural movement was highly adaptable internal volumes using external structure. The Pompidou openly celebrated integration of technology into architecture. The building structure, made of steel, accents highly visible external systems. Conceived as a cultural forum, the Pompidou aimed to break tradition and shift Paris' cultural center. Yet, public resistance to postmodern design reflected societal tension between embracing contemporary culture and preserving historical Parisian urban landscape. Upon its opening, the Pompidou became an aesthetic and cultural icon of Paris, reflecting desire for integrated, accessible, cultural experiences amidst the trend of impenetrable monuments. The appearance of the Pompidou stands in contrast to the rich history of Paris. The steel structure with colorful surfaces creates honesty in both material and function. The project's clear economic objective reinvigorated the surrounding environment, attracting large crowds by nurturing a vibrant communal space that stimulated economic activity. Renzo Piano's piece-by-piece philosophy emphasizes construction as the love of craft. His hands-on approach to both material and form tests the limits of material. In tandem with his upbringing as a builder, the smallest detail begins to have a meaningful dialogue with the whole.